WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something called The Old Friend. This is actually a bottle from a German independent bottler named Michael Reich. And what he did is he said, hey, I want to create a bottle that I can gift to a friend. And so each and every bottle has this nice little thing on it. And on the side it says here, this bottle is dedicated to, and a date, and a signature. And it's The Old Friends, www.theoldfriends.co.uk. Distilled and bottled in Scotland. Bravo. So what we have today is Blair Athol. This is Whiskybase number 185390. This is was distilled in June of 2009 and bottled on the 1st in January 2021. So it is 11 years old, and it had its entire maturation in a Bordeaux Red Wine Barrique. Barrique is basically a European wine cask, about 250 liters, often European oak as well. So the cask number is 304161 / because it was filled in 2009. 281 bottles and cask strength, non-chill filtered, no color added, 54% ABV. A going price of 79 euros and 90 cents over here in Germany. Even though this came out in June of 2021, it's still in a lot of shops, which means this is not a hyper whiskey. Now, what I have on my left is a comparison bottle, which I'm not going to drink. Funny, isn't it? So I decided to use this bottle, and then I poured a little tiny sample, and I remembered, oh, this was the sulfur bomb. This is a Blair Athol. This is from McCrae's, also an independent bottler from Scotland, and it is 23 years old. 139 euros. It's just sulfur in a glass, which I hate. So, demonstration purposes, you have a Blair Athol. Here we're going to concentrate on this. Now, I personally am not the greatest fan of red wine finishes. So I just went online real quick, and I just went to Whiskybase and typed in the word Bordeaux, and I got a few different bottlings. So there was, for example, in Germany from the Kolmor Distillery. I did a few at the beginning. They were all not up to par for me, so I stopped. Yamazaki had a Bordeaux in 2020. Ooh, very good. Aaron had a Bordeaux cask, many different casks. Cavalon has a Bordeaux cask, different ones. They have Palique and they have Margaux and so on. Auchentoshan had a 1999 Bordeaux cask matured, bottled 2011. Bowmore Dark had a Bordeaux cask, wine cask matured. Interesting. I did not know that. There were a few others here. Raze used Bordeaux. Clonakilty, actually the bottle that I have right here. Bordeaux cask finished, single grain is something there. There is from Edredauer, a straight from the cask, and there's a Ballachin, which was Bordeaux casks. So we have a Deanston that was Bordeaux cask, the 10-year-old. Have I forgotten anything? There are quite a few, but is there a new distillery here? Oh, the Quiet Man. I don't hear much about them anymore, but that independent bottler in Ireland that I visited right before they got shut down during their building process. Terrible experience there. Legic. Oh, Legic 2009 Bordeaux red wine cask matured. I've heard a few things about that bottle. People love that over here. There's a Thompson 2013 blended Scotch Whisky with Bordeaux in it. And I think I have basically all of them. There was a Milton Duff as well, but that's from 1964, and I don't think I'm going to buy that anytime soon. So, according to the press release, it says since 1798, Blair Athol has been producing Highland whiskey, and this is 11-year-old expression from the Old Friends. And it has something that has even an older history to it, Bordeaux. And the red wine is here, and it makes it very exotic with fruit notes. and very noble. Now the nose, the first thing I do get are red cranberry, red raspberry. There's a little bit of vanilla sauce on them. This is something that I often get with a good red wine cask finish. Now the only problem is sometimes it can reach a tipping point where that red wine turns to a dry and makes a dry whiskey drier. And it's just I'm a sweet tooth. I like my whiskey somewhat sweeter. I don't like bitter, and I'm not a great fan often of dry whiskeys. And that's what happens here. And so let's try it. And second of all, the 54% are a little bit too strong for me. I'm a wuss. I need to water this down a bit. It's almost like a sour grape. Wow. And towards the end, you have the tannins. A little bit of stringency. The red Bordeaux wine influence here is more than obvious, and for my liking, a little bit too much. So maybe I would have preferred more of a Bordeaux wine finish rather than a full maturation. But hey, that's me. I'm going to water this down to about 45% and see what happens now. What's your favorite Bordeaux red wine cask, either finished or full maturation? Please write it in the chat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For me personally, about 46%. Right. It still has a light tannin type of dry sourness to it that I'm not digging it. This is not my whiskey of choice. C minus for taste, even with water. Value for money of 4. I think 79 euros for this is a little bit much, personally. If it's 59 euros, I would have said, oh, okay, we can buy it. Why not? If it's 69 euros, 79 euros is like, no. And basically, that's what I kind of feel reflected in the online shops here. There's only 281 bottles. I've sold, for my personal bottlings I've done in Germany, 281 bottles. I had 260 some bottles. They were gone in hours. Literally hours, within it wasn't even 2 days, all right? So 281 bottles, so June, July, August, September, October, almost half of a year later, and there's still over a dozen different shops with this this bottle in it. It's not really the hyper bottle that some people might have hoped. Now, if someone had gifted me this bottle, I would not turn it away. I would probably mix it with something else. I would take a whiskey that's a little bit sweeter and make my own blend. Oh, let's do that now. What can I blend this with? I'm going to take something fairly sweet. All right, yep, just because I have it here. I'm going to take a Glenfarclas 12. And I'm going to, oh, this turned in something interesting I did not do in my German video. Extra bonus content. Hey, who would have thought? So I'm going to put in here about a third of this. And then I'm going to add about, I'm going to try to do 50-50. So 50% of this. And I'm actually going to add a little spritz, a little bit of water here. Good. And let's see what I've concocted. Oh, that's actually not bad. The wine finish, I always want to say Rhine for some reason, the river that runs through Germany. The wine finish, we have, for example, Rhine-Hessen whiskey wines that are beautiful. But we're in France, so let's stick with France. This is almost nice. Wait a second. Hmm. They almost complement each other. There's a tiny little bit of still a bitterness in there. This is something that would give me actually heartburn. I don't know about you, but if there are certain whiskeys out there that when I drink them, I have a little bit of heartburn, and there's a lot of acidity in them. Da da da. I would go to something else even more sweet, maybe even a Glendronach 15 or something, and mix that and make that something enjoyable. Of course, I could just invite friends over and get rid of the bottle that way and say, hey, try this, and so on. So maybe that is the second question of the day. The real question of the day is, someone gifts you a bottle and you don't really prefer or really like it that much. It's not bad enough to pour it down the drain. I don't know. I've never done that. I've given whiskey away before I pour it down the drain. There's always someone out there with worse taste buds than me. What would be your strategy to get rid of this bottle? Would it be blended into something that's enjoyable? Would you dilute it and then maybe share it with friends? What would be your strategy to get rid of a gifted bottle that is not up to your expectations of taste? Thank you very much for writing. That'd be very, very interesting. Whiskey Jason here. Whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys, ignoring the sulfur bomb on the left-hand side and concentrating only on making this bottle into something maybe even better. Who knows? Like, subscribe, tell others, and thank you very much for commenting, and thank you very much for sharing. Bye-bye.